There is a momentum that doesn't rely on speed, but on mass. A slow, crushing advance that eventually flattens every obstacle in its path. For over a decade, this was the French national team. They entered every tournament with a roster of elite offensive weapons and the experience of reaching back-to-back World Cup finals. This timeline tracks the 4 times France eliminated Spain from major competitions since 1984. By 2021, these losses had built a psychological wall that Spain seemed unable to climb. Spain's golden generation had aged out, replaced by a squad that suffered consecutive early exits in 2018 and 2022, leaving the national team without a clear successor or a way forward. To beat France, Spain didn't just need a better tactical plan. They had to break a decades-old cycle of historical subjugation. The Euro 2024 semi-final appeared to be a mismatch. Spain arrived missing key starters, while France took the field with their full array of champions. The game began exactly as the history book suggested it would. Kylian Mbappé assisted an early goal in the 8th minute, forcing Spain to chase the match almost immediately. During the first half, the French midfield actively targeted 16-year-old Lamine Yamal, with Adrien Rabiot suggesting the teenager lacked the maturity to handle a game of this magnitude. Down a goal and facing a roster of seasoned veterans, Spain was minutes away from another familiar exit. In the 21st minute, Yamal received the ball 30 yards out. Despite being surrounded by 7 French defenders, he chose to ignore the passing lanes and take the shot himself. He shook off Rabiot with a quick shift to his left and unleashed a strike that clipped the post before finding the top corner. This single moment of defiance disrupted the French composure. Their defensive structure began to fray as players rushed out of position to overcompensate for the sudden shift in momentum. Spain capitalized 4 minutes later, scoring again to win 2-1. It was their first competitive victory over France in 12 years. While the victory proved France could be beaten, relying on a teenager's long-range brilliance isn't a sustainable strategy. Spain needed a system that didn't depend on miracles. The 2026 World Cup semifinal presented the rematch. This time, the contest was framed by 2 opposing philosophies: France's reliance on explosive transitions and Spain's obsession with methodical possession. France walked into the stadium having scored 16 goals in the tournament without conceding even one. To counter France's speed, Spain employed a strategy of starvation. This diagram illustrates how they used tightly clustered passing networks to deny France open transition lanes. At the center, Rodri acted as a pressure valve, absorbing challenges and slowing ball distribution to dictate the game's pace. This level of tactical control required every Spanish player to prioritize possession over risk, effectively keeping the ball out of the danger zone for the entire match. The logic was simple. The most dangerous attackers in the world are rendered irrelevant if the ball never reaches their feet. And now 19-year-old Yamal spent the match manipulating the French backline. His movement eventually forced a defensive error, leading to a crucial penalty that gave Spain a 1-0 lead. Once Spain took the lead, France was forced into the scenario they are statistically worst at, chasing a game without the ball. This heat map shows how Spain handled Kylian Mbappé on the rare occasions he touched the ball. He was instantly swarmed by 3 or 4 markers, leaving him with no room to turn or accelerate. By the end of the night, Mbappé, the tournament's leading scorer, recorded the fewest touches of any player on the pitch. A second goal from fullback Pedro Porro settled the match. Spain hadn't just won. They had systematically removed France's ability to compete. When the final whistle blew on the 2-0 victory, the stadium was unusually quiet. France, a team built for high-speed drama, had failed to mount a single meaningful attack in the second half. The defeat signaled the end of Didier Deschamps' 14-year tenure, as his system finally met an opponent it couldn't outrun. Yamal's earlier comments about making France fear Spain were no longer seen as a teenage boast, but as a reflection of how the dynamic between these 2 nations had shifted. Spain reached the World Cup final for the first time in 16 years, proving that their approach could withstand the most explosive offenses in the world. In the end, Spain demonstrated that the most effective way to beat a juggernaut is to simply stop feeding it.